What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves, physically, emotionally, and spiritually?
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them, visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies? Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS. Have you ever wondered, can you communicate directly with spirit guides, teachers, or non-physical consciousness, or even our higher selves? What would they tell us? My name is Kevin Moore, and since 2015, I started to practice a form of communication which is termed channeling. I have been interviewing experts on my talk show to find out, does life continue after we die? And can we communicate with those that have crossed over? With each expert I spoke to, they all had different ideas. Is there knowledge from the past which could be shared with the present moment? So I thought, why not just speak to the non-physical world directly through channelers around the world? And that's what I set out to do. They Call Us Channelers will take the viewers on a journey into the phenomena known as channeling. And my main goal with this docuseries is to bring a new understanding and awareness to channeling by looking within ourselves and asking, is it truly possible that we can all use this innate ability?
My name is Francesca Thoman, and I live in California. I have been a conscious channel, an intentional conscious channel since 1990. I have channeled information from Nikola Tesla and put out in several books, and have channeled other people. I have also worked with extraterrestrials. I had a number of experiences when I was very young, and that's where I reconnected with some of those extraterrestrials who are my family in the stars and my friends. And to meet them again has been one of the highlights and stable points in my life. My early upbringing was kind of tumultuous, and the ETs helped stabilize me with their friendship and with their support. So we evolved, 10 of the beings that I know have evolved what's called the Lodestone Bridge. And the Lodestone Bridge offers the opportunity of human beings to choose to become citizen ambassadors. And the whole point of being a citizen ambassador from Earth is to connect with ETs that you specifically have known before, your old friends, family, colleagues, teachers, drinking buddies, if you like. So that you can also have that feeling of, I have some place in the universe, someone who understands me in a way that nobody on earth can. Because nearly all of the higher races in this galaxy are both telepathic and empathic. So to become a citizen ambassador is in a spirit of mutual respect and cultural exchange, because that's the excitement of the bridge, is that once you have given your permission to connect to this being whom you know and know again, it's like, if you're going to go see the play Hamilton or something, bring them along, you know. But that's what I can do, is I can channel such a person, such a being for you, reintroduce you, tell you his, her name, tell you how to connect with this person, tell you how to check to make sure it's this person and not some random white from there are a lot of spirits who love to mess with human beings because occasionally we can be kind of gullible, but there are protections and there are methods of making sure that you're talking to the person you think you're talking to. Now, a great many of the extraterrestrials in the galaxy live on a higher vibration. You could say it's a different dimension, but it's actually just a higher vibration. It's like the elves. An elf can be standing right in front of you. You won't be able to see him. It's like like some animals can see into the ultraviolet or into the infrared. Human beings cannot. So if something is in the ultraviolet level, they could be standing right there. You wouldn't be able to see them. We're not equipped. So there are planets that look empty of life, but if you were to raise your own vibration, you would see there's a tremendous civilization there. So the question of physicality gets kind of mushy. It's kind of like physical, not physical, kind of physical, sort of physical. But the point of the whole exercise is not to worry, it's to make the heart connection, to make the connection of respect, to reconnect the friends, the family, and again, the ones who understand you. And I would be working with each person, specifically for who is the one who is calling out to you to say, I want to talk to you again. I want to say hello again. I want to work with you again.
Well, first of all, it's great to have you back on. Let me just say that your last interview with me, Francesca, was well, I know it was a busy period for you. It got an enormous amount of views. I tell you what, we'll link that in the description below your previous interview. So if people have not seen your previous interview, then obviously that's available. Just tell people in regards, or the audience, in regards to that previous interview, obviously what we're talking about now, this is the process that you're talking about now is called Postcards from Home, which we're going to dive back into. We've got a lot to talk about on that. But in general, you're obviously a channeler, right? I wanted to say, are you a sort of deep trance channeler? Would you class yourself as?
Conscious channeler. I'm always aware of what's happening and what's being said. Now, channeling is kind of like driving a car. If you're driving a car and somebody's sitting next to you and they're talking to you, that's what I call relay. If you give the fellow the keys and then sit in the back seat, that's conscious channeling. I mean, you're always there. You're not doing the driving, because the intelligence will be using your conscious mind, like using your car, so that very often when you come back at the end, you don't remember much, but you are there at the time. Now, deep trance channeling is like giving the guy the keys and letting him run with the car. Right. I don't do that. Jane Roberts was able to do that. I don't quite have the courage to do that.
Well,
but,
yeah. Well, Jane Roberts, we were talking about Jane Roberts just before we started this interview.
Yes.
There was a lot of training she did for that. People just see, Seth speaks and, they just presume that was Jane's level all the time. But, well, that was not. It took her a long time. I mean, I get a lot of channelers on this show and, they've just started channeling or some have been doing it for a very long time. There's something to say about having the ups and downs, the failures in doing this work, isn't there? Because it does make you a better person to connect, most definitely. How long have you been doing it for as well? Just to add to the answer that you're going to give.
Well, I realized I was a conscious channel in 1990. So I've been around for a while. I had some health challenges for a while, and that sort of shut that down. But I've recollected myself, and here we are. I've been working with Nikola Tesla since about 1995, and then health problems, and then picked it back up around 2000. So there was a little brief time. Okay.
Well, actually, just curiosity, did any of the beings that came through, even Nikola Tesla, did they ever give any health advice for you? And if so, did you ever listen?
I haven't asked.
I gotta love that. He just didn't ask.
I haven't asked. I mean, I could, but my attitude is, I'm going to take this on and work with it as it is. And I suppose I could get it healed, but it doesn't feel right to ask for perfect health for me.
No, I just wondered if there'd been suggestions, because we touched upon the Jane Roberts. I know that Seth did come through in the early years books, and it did talk about suggestions to help improve Jane's health and Robert's health. But Jane obviously is on her own personal journey, and she didn't listen. Well, actually, a friend of mine is a really big Seth person, and he was telling me that Seth did get Robert Butt's death right to almost to the year. And when this was back in the early years when this information was coming through, and when Seth predicted Jane's, it was probably with distortion of Jane getting in the way. Yeah. And there were times when Seth would say, what was said in yesterday's class was full of distortions. And so we're going to start again. And I mean, Seth talked about as well that it's the environment. It was the place where even where you're based had effects on what there were so many things that added up to becoming a clean channel. It wasn't just the vessel; it was the area as well. That Seth would, where they were based. Apparently, they were taken to the right area for the strongest connection for Seth to be given. I don't know if you've ever heard stuff like this at all, but this is all in the Seth books. It's just very interesting how get one thing off and the information is distorted.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I just do my best.
Well, that's all we can do, isn't it? I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just do my best, and I do have the classic check. If I sense a spirit, I ask it, "Do you come of God?" Right. And if it says anything else, then yes, I come of God. I tell it to take a hike. Now, after a while, working with someone like Nikola, I mean, I could just. Nikola, I could just, it's you, right? Sometimes I will check even so. And I check with my ET friends because I sometimes communicate with them. And, they very sweetly say, yes, I come of God. It's just like, it's just kind of like being able to check that the email that you're getting is really from the person you think that you're getting it from, and not somebody else who's hack the system.
I think it's as you say, the loves that you just know internally that this is just, you just know because you're able to listen to that gut feeling.
Right. One of my main ET contacts, being called Thoyantir, he actually put a very strong protective shell around me too. And as I was taught very early on, you cannot draw any lower than your lowest nature. I mean, if you're a fairly decent person, you're highly unlikely to channel some sort of a vicious demon.
Yes, yes, that is true. You've got to want to do that, and we don't want to do that, right? Absolutely. Well, I mean, you can do it and have some fun. I'm sure it'll be fun, but
well, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of nonsense it would tell you. If you're high on, a couple of drugs or something, I'm sure it would make a good, evening. But if you want a bit of self-improvement, it's not really going to help.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that is one thing I can say to refute any assumptions. I've never taken any recreational drugs. The closest I came to it was when I had broken my ankle and they gave me morphine to put me to sleep. It's like, guys, I don't need this. So I've never taken any, I'm not making this up.
Oh, I know you're not. No, I can't say the same, Francesca.
I know you know, dear man. But...
Yeah, I've done most things. I'll be honest. I've done a lot of things, but I think everything in moderation. And most definitely, and yeah, but no, I love your energy, and I know you come from the right space, and I really, to be honest with you, it's like anything, actions speak louder than words. Your books are just incredible with the science in there, and how many books have you done? I can't even begin to count them. How many books?
I've done 5. We're starting work on book 6.
It just seems more than that. Okay.
It's very, very deep and dense material. We also have the 2 books where Nikola asked people to speak, anyone from Abraham Lincoln to Harriet Beecher Stowe to, Oliver Wendell Holmes. Yeah. So we have, Nikola Tesla Presents and Channeled Human Wisdom.
So just remind the audience as well, your website is?
Okay. I have 2 websites, yourakashicwisdom.com, because I am a certified Akashic Wisdom consultant, and Nikola Tesla channeled.com, because I've been channeling him since 95 off and on. And so what I would like to do at some point is to create a third website for the Lodestone Bridge, which is, as I say, a group of 10 ETs that I work with, who are helping to kind of clear the it's like they're protecting the lines of communication, so that when a person does get connected to his or her old friend, colleague, family member, the Lodestone Bridge is part of what keeps the signal not only pure but protected.
Well, this is going to be interesting. So let's just get straight in then to Postcards from Home and what you're doing now as well, which you've done this before, but we never spoke about this on the last interview. And this is very different, actually, and a very different aspect of your work. So let's just go straight to the individual healing. What is the sort of individual healing to make contact with, an ET being, I'll call it that just for now, that's got a connection with you? What is the benefits of that, just for the individual, in a sense?
Well, the benefits are quite a lot. For the first time, as I said earlier, you finally have found someone who understands you in the way that nobody on this planet can, because it's like being exiled to, another country and finally hearing from someone who speaks your language. So it's the language of the soul, the language of the heart. So you feel centered. You don't feel quite so alone. You feel supported and understood, obviously, but you also have the opportunity, because the other part of the Lodestone Bridge is to call on the citizen ambassadors so that you can show what is good in humanity. Because humanity, in some circles, is looked on kind of like, God, those guys are dangerous, nearly all ETs would say, "There's no way in the world we're going to land on the White House lawn or in front of the Kremlin. They'd shoot us, for fear, threat, reaction. Let's wait until they grow up a little bit more, But a lot of us who have come from other stars remember there's some place that we remember, but we don't know what it is. We don't know where it is. We don't know who it is. And this can connect us back to, oh, that's what it was. I remember. And the light was just this kind of light. And, the way it feels to talk about this, that I can't talk to anybody else with. And this is postcards from home. It's like a care package from home.
I love it. So, in a sense, what you're saying is we've all had. Well, it does seem to be the fact, and even with your work as well, that there seems to be the understanding that maybe we've had past lives before, or past lives are happening all now. Who knows how that works, right? All I know is I'm centered here right now. But if we just separate it, that it wasn't all now, just for our linear mind, right? But that yes, we've had lives, incarnations in other parts of this universe, and obviously the multiverse as well, and other dimensions, right? And so forth, right? So that's an interesting aspect to it when it comes to the healing, as you've described there as well. Now, obviously, I mentioned this off air to you as well. We've got physical contact. We've got physical visitations, physical abductions, close encounters, personal encounters with physical beings reported. We've got Roswell as a granddaddy of the UFO case. If that is the case, I do believe it is, right? But these are physical. They were in this reality. What we're talking about here is alternative realities, other dimensions, which, as you mentioned, the gnome analogy at the beginning of this interview, or as you mentioned, life on other planets. If you could just shift that dimensional frequency, yes, you're walking through them and they're walking through us, but shift it, and then we're both on the same frequency in a sense. And what's in this space I'm at right now? What's in the space that you're at? If you shifted it, are you in? Is there a high-rise tower that's going up? That's of some other unknown existence. Right? They say heaven is on earth, so. Yes, we're talking from that perspective. It's very difficult to get one's head in that understanding, but from what you've channeled, that is the understanding of it. That in the same space, different frequency, other things are happening.
Yes, and we were going to touch on time. Time itself, it's a stupendous illusion. In a certain sense, it's not real at all. In another sense, it is real. It's like, when you talk to an astronomer, he will say, well, that star already blew up 1,000 years ago. But as far as the ET communications are concerned, in my experience, you can go back in time the same way you can go out in space. So it's like slipping into a timeless now within time space.
So do you? That's kind of neat, right? I sorry to butt in there, but so when you're connecting with these beings from other dimensions, other realities, in those other realities, do you think when you're tuning in and when you're opening yourself up to channel, that because in a reality where we have no understanding of anything, well, I'm talking about really, right? But that maybe there's an openness to be able to receive someone's thoughts like yours, and there is a two-way communication, because we're in that reality they're in, that is an ability, just like telepathy, is probably an ability in this reality that's more more actually out there in the galaxy than we can even understand, well, in the universe than we even understand. But just like telepathy, this is an ability that is just as normal as breathing.
Yes. Telepathy and empathy. It's not only being aware of the thoughts, but being aware of the feelings and of the signature of a person. It's kind of like when you have your eyes closed, you're sitting back and you hear someone walk in the room and you recognize, oh, that's my father's footsteps. It's that kind of signature feeling of that's he. It's no one else.
Okay. What came into my thinking with this work, and I'm not trying to take away from what we're doing right now, was what popped in my mind earlier on was the alternative versions of ourselves from other realities, and the experience of connecting to our other realities, and for the other versions of our realities to experience the roads that were less traveled, the roads that they can't normally experience because it's not their it's not part of their life plan to have that experience. Is that an analogy you could put to what you're doing in a sense? Maybe not.
Not so much, because the bridge wants to keep it to kind of like this particular universe, not necessarily one of the alternate universes, partly because it would complicate things. And human minds aren't trained enough to be able to differentiate, the tiny, tiny differences between one alternate reality and another. It takes a lot of training to do that, a lot of training and discernment to say, okay, now some people are very skilled in consciousness and they can connect to their alternate selves. And that's a whole joy. And but this is not specifically what the bridge is presenting.
Absolutely. I was just, trying to put these questions down, and I was like, wow,
it's okay. It's okay.
But what you're saying, in a sense, if I'm understanding what you're saying, is that so this experience that you connect with, it's all based in this reality, and there's actually other dimensions within this reality. But that would maybe mean that in alternative realities, there's other dimensions within those alternative realities.
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, reality is an infinity of infinities, relax.
I need a cup of tea, I think. Well, they do talk about, don't they? Even the Akashic people that do Akashic readings, that when they, go to the Akashic records, and it's just an analogy of their understanding of opening the records, but they talk about the multiple planes of existence that are out there. It's so fascinating, this subject is. It really is. But yet we are doing this, that you're doing this work to help in this moment, in this, grain of sand of dimension that's out there. This is the one that we're focused on. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, thank you for letting me rant and just clear that up a little bit, even though it's probably more ununderstandable than I'm even able to put it into words. It's just, so really, this experience, it can even open up someone's mind just to that potential, can't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's ask the questions then that will guide this in then. So here we go. Okay. So let's just look at the idea of connecting for people then. So the process is that if someone's interested into connecting with their lineage, their ET lineage, or whatever, aspect of that lineage wants to come through, how does that work then in a session? Just talk us through that process to begin with.
Okay. Well, the specifics would depend upon the person, but I would
Me
open
then.
up.
You can use me as an example if you want.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Open up to like your core energy. There are some people who've come from other galaxies, and I know the difference between a galaxy and a star system. But anyway, okay. What I'm receiving is actually I'm laughing because it's like you do have some very strong protection around you, and it acts like a maze, a baffling maze, so that no one can get to you because they go, is it the right turn or the left turn or the up or the down or the this, right? So okay. Mm. All right, okay, before you came to Earth, let's start there. You studied on Arcturus. You were already well known as a teacher, as a healer, as a the closest we could come to is life coach. You were already well known, and you wanted to work on Arcturus because they have a certain way of multitasking. Their brains can really genuinely handle multitasking. So you wanted to study that. Say, oh, this is really interesting. Let's watch this. So your origin is not Arcturus, but that's where you were before you came to Earth. You went to Arcturus. You stopped by the Pleiades, and then oh, okay, Lyra. You went to the constellation of Lyra. It's sort of bopped around a little bit. You always have this wonderful energy to go, oh, this looks interesting. Let's go check this out. This looks interesting. Let's go check that out. Okay, but your point of origin. Okay. Okay. It's well, it is actually from the center of this universe, which is not to make you more special, but that's just where you were first. When you physicalized, you were in the functional center of the universe, such as the Great Pyramid is on the center of all the landmass of Earth. You began in what it was the functional center of this universe. And so for that, you have a natural affinity for the centers of galaxies. So you checked the center of this galaxy first, and then looked at what the options were, kind of like looking on a menu board, and said, oh, I think I'll go to Arcturus. So you studied on Arcturus for a while, and that's where you learned what it was to be human. You learned some more from the Pleiadians, although you found some of them kind of tiresome. I don't know why, but you did. But so you came, and then through Lyra, you had a lot more fun on Vega. And you came to Earth. Yeah, you came to Earth as a Lyran, and you feel that, and you stayed in that form for a while. You were, and we were talking earlier about being invisible, though etherically physical. You did that a lot. You did that a lot in the beginning. You find being a human being still a challenge, and there's some parts of it that it's kind of like Can't they do it a better way? I mean, good grief. They keep doing the same stupid thing and the same stupid thing and the same stupid thing. But that's why you're here, to show them another way, to show them a different way. Now, as to which being would like to talk to you, um, yeah, they're having, I won't say an argument, but they're having a discussion. But I want to talk to him, but I want to talk to him, but I want to talk. Okay. All right. All right. First, we will talk to your Lyran mother. She actually, mother in the sense that um, you communicated with her and agreed to become literally her physical child, or as close to physical as they have on Lyra. And okay. Oh, she has so much joy and delight in her. It's wonderful. Um, okay, so slow down just a little bit, dear heart. Let's see. Okay, do you have a pencil and paper? I'll write it down. All right. So I'll send it to you. Okay. Her name was Alea Ivana, and you called her Vana. You can call her Vana now. But she's just settling in here. I'll channel her in a moment. Dear Kevin, you're doing better than you think. You give yourself too many little tests, too many little pop quizzes. You keep checking up on yourself and checking up on your checking up of yourself. So I would say just, relax. You're doing better than you think. And joy is the thing that is universal. Love is universal. Caring is universal. Hang out with those. Feel how you felt in your body. The Lyrans are tall and elegant, gracious and discerning. You deserve, you keep thinking maybe you don't or forgot that you did or something. You deserve civilized circumstances, civilized behavior, civilized beings, civilized those who live in grace, those who live in compassion, those who live in an utter love for beauty, those who live in the harmony of single purpose, but it is deeper than that. It is the harmony of elegance. Elegance. You need more elegance in your life, not just this Frankensteinian, okay, we'll slap it together and see if it can walk kind of thing. You deserve to receive. You need to work on your receiving the elegance, receiving the tremendous appreciation that we have for you, because you have been knocked down and sat on and squash fat more than a few times, and you say, okay, I think I can get up now. All right. And okay, now what was I doing? Oh, yes, I'll just keep doing what I was doing. Never mind being squashed flat. So you have tremendous courage and you are recognized for that. You are honored for that. Uh, Earth right now is being watched kind of like the finest reality show on television. But those who are watching with tremendous compassion and understanding because they know that the stellar expatriates on planet Earth are doing things that very few extraterrestrials can. They don't have the stamina. They don't have the courage. They don't have the pith. But give yourself a few more times every day to consider elegance and just this gentleness of civilization. Okay, I'm being told my time is finished. So my channel will send you the name, but you can call me Ivana for short. You can remember that. It's a nickname. It means cheerful.
Thank you.
Okay, unless you have a question, I'm permitted to stay for questions.
No, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I think that was the message I needed to hear. So thank you.
You're more than welcome. Bye for now. I am the teacher you had on Arcturus. And part of the answer, how you can communicate with a being who's thousands of light years from here, is that there's only here and there's only now. And any living being who is advanced to a certain level knows that. But also, it's like, okay, in her mind, she sees clearly that deaf people talk with their hands and with gestures and expressions, and you can have a deaf person talking to another person and communicating with the hands, and meanwhile someone on the edge of his vision is saying, oh, sorry, I have to go to the market to get the turkey or whatever, and the deaf person can understand both communications at the same time. This is how the Arcturians work. We can be aware of more than one channel at once. So this is what you long for. You want to be aware of more than one being at once, more than one thing at once. If you knew how to clone yourself, you would, but then all those clones would want to clone themselves because of all the things they wanted to do. You enjoyed being, because you did physicalize with us, as physical as we get. You did physicalize with the Arcturians, and you spent a fairly long time here. Because you just enjoyed the the vim and the vigor and the kind of excitement of the difference of a sleepy town by the river and the city with the great big lights, and all the cars rushing by, and there's a street fair over here, and there's someone playing guitar over there, and there's someone else doing something else over here, and meanwhile you smell the wonderful smell of baking. You love that, taking it all in. But my name is Kenkeon Chares, and she has written that down, so she'll send it to you, as would happen with any other person who received a postcard from home. But my postcard, I'm writing to you to say, being human demands one-pointed concentration, but occasionally sit back somewhere comfortably and allow your mind brain your heart brain and your body brain to all open up to all the input. Just occasionally is just put all your antennae up and received the presence. Become aware of what you are not often aware of. Like, what is happening in the air around you? What is happening in the gravity around you? What's going on with the magnetism? That's all in the body. That information is in the body brain and in the heart. What beings are with you? What beings surround you? Do you have your full complement of angels, or is one gone off to go, do something? to become aware of the presences around you, and to feel, to receive, and to nourish. I mean, we do agree with Vana. You don't receive enough. You don't open it up enough to. It's okay. Okay, I'm being held. I'm being. I have a place to just spread out, relax, lie back, take in the sun, and then let your mind expand. And it's like, the universe is not built by logic. Logic is insufficient to create a universe. To create a universe, you need the impossible. The impossible is not logical. Therefore, logic would fail. You and I used to tell each other stories like this all the time. You can feel it. I feel you remembering. I feel you remembering how we used to talk. And we would lean out, we would lean out on, over the railing and look down at, all of what was going on. We would make comments and to say, oh, yeah, that person is, I see that person is really doing this. But he doesn't think so. So this is very peculiar. We did that on Earth, too. We used to watch human beings for a long time before you became human. I would find being human, A, too limited, B, too frustrating, C, it's puzzling. It's kind of like, why would they do that way? I would get myself into a fair froth. But so call me Charez if you like. That's our. I was your teacher, and you were my teacher, and you are my teacher now. We do hang out at night. What is true with a great many stellar expatriates who are living on this planet now, I'm being told to tell you, you go out at night and go hang out with your friends. So if you wake up feeling good one morning, it's because you got a chance to be with those you love. So I am done and ready for questions if you have any.
So if Francesca was to connect us up then, which she already has done in this session right now, then
yes.
In time-wise, what was the sort of time when we were connected? I mean, are we talking thousands of years ago? I mean,
thousands.
Yeah, thousands.
Yes, thousands.
But then, how are you from thousands of years ago able, if you were to, see the human experience through my experience, what difference would that make to you? Or I guess this is an out of time conversation in a sense, isn't it?
In a sense, it is. Yeah. If you make a friend, you recognize that friend no matter what body he or she is in. You've had that experience. Say, I know this person. I don't know from where. I've never met her in this life or him in this life, but I know that person. That is one aspect, because the connection remains and our connection remains. I am no longer working in Arcturus. I've moved on elsewhere. I'm working in the Magellanic Cloud, actually, the greater one. There are two, the greater and the lesser. I'm working at that one right now. But I can, through my memory and through my focus and concentration, remember who I was when I knew you and speak to you with that personality. In a sense, it is very similar. Speaking of, I'm definitely taking bits from the channel's mind, but earlier talking about Jane Roberts, when she was saying it seems tedious to ask someone who has passed on to talk to anybody. They've got better things to do, to talk to any. So what you're seeing is the what was the term she used? Not thought form. The we'll have to get back to that. Where it's like you get a template of the personality, and the template has its own life, in a sense, and can communicate with you. Now, I am both using that template to present myself to you as you knew me then, but I am also here in my true self. It's like using an icon of myself in order to communicate.
So, let me get my head around this then. So, your lifespan is for thousands of years. So you are no.
It's for thousands of years, but not tens or hundreds of thousands of years.
Okay.
There are some beings who do have that capacity.
In my timeline here now, you've already crossed over.
Yeah, I've crossed over, taken a couple different bodies, but I remember you. I mean, of course I remember you.
But in the timeline that you're on, then you, as far as where is your center point right now? Is it, as you've said, in the
Magellanic Cloud?
Yeah. Okay. And am I speaking to the higher self version or the incarnated version?
A little of both. When you are communicating with someone, when you're talking with someone, what part of you is speaking to that person? It's not the body. You're using the body to speak to. The body is the telephone. Yeah. It's the mind, but it's also the intention. It's also what wishes to be said. Where is that? Is that in your higher self? It can be. It gets convoluted. It can get complicated if you want complications. Complications are easy to find.
Absolutely.
But no. Your garden variety Arcturian can live about 8,000 years, but not 80,000, about 800,000. So I've fulfilled my time, and there's about 7,800 and something. And I said, oh, okay, I'm done. I want to go do something else. So I spent some time on Vega, and I spent some time. Well, there's a star that's on the other side of the galaxy that you haven't even seen yet, because you have to go through the galaxy to see it. It's not. I couldn't even tell you what constellation it's in. But then I went to the Magellanic Cloud. So technically, I'm speaking to you from my fourth life through the personality I had in that life when you knew me.
Yes.
Complications, yes?
No, it's fascinating. It really is. And have I changed much? Am I still with the same problems?
No. Certain aspects you have not changed. One is your vast interest in what is. Your compassion has not changed. Your what wanting to reach out. It's the wanting to become more that has not changed. Your intelligence has gone up and down depending upon which body you were in, but the fire of the intelligence has not changed. Those things have not changed. In your human self, you tend to doubt yourself rather more. Yeah. In your human self, you tend to like take a step and then stop and look back and make sure you can see your own footprint. And then you reconnoiter, take another step, stop, look back and see if you can see your own footprint. There's a little bit of that going on. So you're harder on yourself now.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, you're very good at being hard on yourself. You want an A in that class? I'll give you an A.
It's appreciated. Yeah, that's true.
No, you're caring for beings, for that which lives, not just human beings, not just extraterrestrials, but the ecologies, the planets, the animals, the whole, the system of life. What is the intention of the life is to seek joy, to seek exaltation in form, in success. It's like that has not changed. So the core of you has not changed at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if my choice in women has changed much. It's got worse or got better. I don't know.
That is a whole other subject, and that would take a good 20 minutes. And
yes, but we don't have that.
Have the time.
No. Well, we can joke, can't we?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Absolutely. And your sense of humor, it's still good and strong the way it always has been, because you just need to turn a little bit more of it onto yourself. It's like, okay, I'm doing this again. Oh, how silly.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you for coming through to demonstrate this to the audience. Fascinating.
I'll tell you, though, it's very interesting being channeled, because I was intending to come rather serious and kind of like a teacher. I can't in this body. I cannot with this channel. There's too much joy. There's too much joy here. I can't escape it. I don't want to. It feels too good. So I'll tell you that there have been times when I have been very serious. Then
yeah, you got no chance. Yeah.
No chance. No chance. I can't even remember what it is to be serious.
Well, no, it's just I find it fascinating. So thanks for coming to just peel back the onion. So yep,
it's very good to see you again, and to feel the heart's touch and connection, because that is the real thing. I mean, friendship is a universal constant. Trust on that. And once you have made a friend, that friendship remains. Yes, it can go through changes. A friend might betray you, and you might shut the door on him for a while or on her for a while, but the friendship is still there. The friendship is always still there, and can be rekindled. Sometimes it takes work, but it can be rekindled. And family is another constant. They're telling me, don't open up that can of worms, because we could talk for a long, long time, and I'm being told I'd better leave.
We're out of time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm out of time. You're not out of time. You have all the time in the world. And the reason why we want to reconnect is to give human beings another sense of who they are, another sense of why they're here, another sense of what they are capable of, another sense of relief. Bye.
So let's just recap here, right, on what's going on, right? So basically, in the process, then,
yes,
if I was coming to you, so you've connected me there, right?
Yes.
With a tourist, right? And then, which was fascinating, yeah. But then, so okay, then tourist he's getting an experience of aspects of the human experience, because then we're connected, right? But it's
Yes.
not, for some of us, we may not have the, feel very open to wanting
Correct.
to listen to that voice, or
Right.
it may be just a knowing sometimes that maybe that energy is with us. It just may be that knowing in the gut feeling that, oh yes,
Right.
he's with us. And some people
Yes.
may be thinking, well, how long does this last for? Is it, is it for a week? Is it for, is it
Human
from,
beings
for
have,
life?
Yeah, we have the right of first refusal.
Right.
Human beings always have the right of first
So if you wanted to cut
refusal.
that connection off, you have the
Absolutely.
right to, yeah, not just the right, but you can. You don't need anyone else to do it for you.
Correct.
Because some people may think, let's just mention this as well, because this was, things I wanted to talk about, was they may find that is this safe to connect to this energy? What is my protection? That we talk a lot about discernment and protection in this show as well.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the channeling, and that's why I'm working with the Lodestone Bridge, the Federation Council, the Syrian Council, and the Galactic Council. And all of these guys make sure that the communications are absolutely protected. It's like, if you have enough light, darkness can't exist. It's only in the interim that where you have shine a light, you see deeper shadows. That's what's happening right now. But the light is being added to and added to and added to. So, but it's also whatever being I channel for a person who wants to receive such information, that being will tell you, that person will tell you, this is how you can protect yourself. This is how you could protect our communication. This is how you can connect with me. To be given so I can't just give you a blanket, this is how you do it, because it's very personalized and focused on each person and each ET human connection.
Yes. And the person coming to see you as well, they don't need to have any special skill sets, right? They don't need to be well, I'm sure we're all psychic, but they don't have to they don't need, they can just, even for curiosity, would you say that's enough?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can have just one communication from your ET connection, and that will be that. Many of the stellar expatriates do have a natural ability already for telepathy. It has been clogged up, shut down, buried, and otherwise limited on Earth. But when you connect with, your old colleague or a friend, the connection is there. So you can. It's like, I don't really have a really elegant metaphor, but it, hmm. I don't know. It's just, I'm not coming up with anything really useful. But the point is that once the connection is made with a person and that particular ET, and believe you me, these ETs are vetted by the powers that be, the Syrian Council, the Galactic Council, and the Galactic Federation. They're on the up and up. They're guaranteed to be on the up and up. And that is what the purpose of the Lodestone Bridge is to act kind of as a clearinghouse so that you will connect with a benign, civilized, reasonable, usually quite joyful person.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that person will tell you, all right, this is what you can do to absolutely protect yourself.
Yeah. And again,
our communication.
It's all about healing this lifetime now. Well, not healing. I mean, it can be for some people, right?
Yes, it can be.
But it can also be to improve other aspects of your life. As such in the example you just did there, I could have asked more. Well, in a session, you would have me asking more questions, wouldn't you? But this was just a sort of demonstration.
Yes.
Because normal sessions, I think they last about an hour, don't they? At least.
Yes.
Yeah. So, maybe you're looking for answers that actually could come from such an alternative perspective, in a sense, with a reading like that. And that's all. What's the main purpose of coming to you for a session like that? And I know we've talked about, this obviously is to become a sort of, a sort of citizen ambassador, I suppose. But really, that's not for everyone. Some people may not need anything more than just that session.
Yes. The Lodestone Bridge is presenting the idea of the citizen ambassador, but no one has to become a citizen ambassador. No one has to connect with these beings. No one has to do anything. We have absolute right of first refusal. It's like, we can say no.
Yeah.
They can't mess with us once we said no. They won't.
But the benefits
they respect us too much.
Of course. But the benefits of looking into the star origin of yourself is that maybe there's some patterns that are going on now that have been going on for a long time, and or there's a reason that maybe there's a reason why you feel a certain way. And it actually comes from some other aspect of you that's able to communicate those issues to you, obviously, and in a private sort of setting, one-to-one, and that could be very, very empowering for a lot of people.
Right. We do want to say, though, that we're not presenting the Andlanders of the universe. We're not, it's kind of like, expert is a damn fool from out of town. Just because they're from another star doesn't mean they know how to be human. You know how to be human. I think this was what Chavez was trying to tell you, was that, you're better at being human than I wouldn't be able to do it. So it's like to not turn to them as, solve my problems, tell me the magic thing that will, no. This is like to give you a sense of centeredness, to give you a sense of home, to give you a sense of grace, to give you a sense of what it means to be civilized and not do the same stupid thing over and over and over again, for instance. Like having a war and then having a war and then having a war and then having a war.
We're very good at that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're growing out of it.
We are.
Believe it or not, we are growing out of it.
I hope so. I feel so. Yeah.
Well, what's happening with Ukraine? 98% of the world has said, screw that. Putin, you're stupid. This is jaw-dropping. They got it. War is useless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. No, that's an interesting analogy, actually. Yeah. Yeah, things are shifting. They are. I mean, it's very, very slow, but there's things that need to be worked out. There's things that have to be played out as well. Unfortunately. So, if people would like to experience the Postcards from Home sessions with yourself, then they would just go to your website, and just for the podcast as well, one last time, your website is
No, okay, I have two websites, YourAkashicWisdom.com. That is for my Akashic record reading consultations. And then Nikola Tesla, sorry, uh, Nikola Tesla channel.com. That is for my work with Nikola Tesla. I do not yet have, although I'm going to be working on a third website for the Lodestone Bridge. But the way to connect for a reading, a channeling for the postcards from home and a picture postcard from home too, is just to write my email, francescastarhand@gmail.com.
We'll link that below as well, and
Yeah.
that will pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
Or has popped up on the screen throughout this interview as well.
Yeah.
I
So I have three hats.
Yes, you do. Oh, absolutely, you do. Yes. Is there anything else that you might like to add to this interview that you think would be useful for the audience, please?
Well, just to describe a little more with more detail, the picture postcards from home, because oftentimes when I connect with a being, I get a sense of what he or she looks like. And so then I can make a sketch during the reading, and then I will work up, a Prismacolor pencil drawing like I have on that page, the picture postcards of home. I don't know if you have that up on your screen or not. Okay, but it's like the first two beings there were Diet and DeBarney, and DeBarney is part of the Lodestone Bridge. DeBarney is an ambassador, and Diet is his brother, who's an empathic poet. When he speaks a poem, you can hear and sense and almost smell like he's talking about the mist rising from the marshes. You're there, and it's a very delicate and gentle type of telepathic and empathic communication. And there's very little malice ever involved. I mean, it's like you cannot be a fine telepath and be vicious. It's like the two parts of the brain cancel each other out. If you're cruel and you're vicious and you're hateful and you can't do telepathy. You go crazy if you try. Okay, so the second one was my main contact, Thiontir. Kind of take a lemur and a meerkat, mix them together, and make them 7 feet tall, and that's Thiontir. The last one is Tokashe. I find it quite delightful. One part of the Galactic Federation is a group of beings called the Rangers. They're kind of like the peace officers. They help if you're lost, you can call on them. The Galactic Federation has the arm called of the peacekeepers, of the peace officers, called the Rangers, and they're from very different planets. There used to be, there still is, I think, this comic book called The Green Lantern.
That's
and
right.
The Green Lantern used to have, it's like any being who had that green ring was recognized all over the galaxy as you've been vetted, you're a good person. So it's like that. So like the all of the Rangers, they've been vetted. They've been tested and trained, and their intention is compassion and support. And so, but okay, say you've bumped into somebody and you don't know this who this being is, and you don't know how to say I'm sorry. You call them the Rangers, or if you can, they're there in a way that they're. There's a term and I'm looking for it and can't find it. It happens sometimes with my brain, it gets tangled up. But it's like where you can be there to de-escalate situations. You can be there to help people, you rescue people. They're very good at rescues. But the Rangers, they're a very tight-knit group. And one of the members of the Lodestone Bridge is also a Ranger. He's Vertivix. He's a very, very, the other thing I want to say is that a lot of extraterrestrials may have really weird forms. There's one being Francesca, who actually she looks kind of like an ant and reminds me of the Hopi talking about the ant people. I believe it was her kind, actually. I haven't asked her, but that's my impression. But when I first met her, when we were opening up the possibility of the bridge, she was in college at the time, for goodness sake, and having a lot of, very human experiences, and Vertivix is a family man. He has 6 children now. And, I used to read stories to his kids. I'd sort of link into them telepathically and read stories. And they go, oh, wow, this is really interesting, kind of thing. There are a lot of things that are the same in this galaxy. Family is very much the same. Friendship is the same. Respect and regard. And so most of the extraterrestrials in this galaxy are human form. Absolutely all of the physical, as physical as we, those are the humanoids. Okay. Most of the slightly unusual forms are in that other, dimension of vibration. So don't worry, we're not going to have bug-eyed monsters wandering the streets. We might be able to get to learn how to see them and have a wonderful conversation with them, but that's another story altogether.
Absolutely. Well, look, Francesca,
thank you.
We have covered a lot here right now, and
I'm honored. We are honored.
Well, Francesca, just thank you so much for coming on today. I've really appreciated getting you on. I'm sure there's other books in the future. I'm sure you'll be coming back on. Well, I know you will do. And thank you for sharing and just demonstrating with myself as well, just how the postcards from home work as well. So, Francesca, just thank you so much.
And thank you. We're honored. It has been a great pleasure. And bless you all.